Akira was sick of life and wanted an escape, but was sent to an unknown place with superpowers and forced to fight. In Japan, Akira plays a video game on his PC and is about to win when the game suddenly disconnects. He rage quits and stops trying to rank up. Pouring himself some candy, he leans back and closes his eyes. Soon, it is time for school, so Akira eats breakfast downstairs. The living room is covered in trash and clothes, but Akira doesn't seem to be bothered by it. He grabs his keys and heads out. While walking, he realizes he will never be able to beat the game and wants to find something new to distract him from the real world. His schoolmates spot him on the sidewalk and gossip about how addicted Akira is to video games, but still manages to ace every test. Meanwhile, Akira is annoyed that tests are just a pathetic memorization game and hears the girls calling him a weirdo. Akira is looking for something stimulating. Pause. Something stimulating like a game with clear objectives and limitations. A black car stops in front of him and a man covered in bandages steps out. He punches a truck and a timer for 5 seconds to start. At the end of the 5 seconds, the man begins attacking Akira. Akira immediately pedals away on his bike while thinking of what to do. He gets excited realizing it is a game where he has to defeat the mummy and spots an abandoned building. The scene cuts to the mummy walking in the building while Akira hides on top of a pillar. Akira plans to trap the mummy, but it just jumps over the giant gap and Akira needs a new plan. As the mummy barges in through another door, Akira calls out to him from above and captures his foot. As the mummy struggles to move, a large container topples over, crushing the mummy. The mummy pushes the barrel away, now covered in blood. As the mummy jumps towards Akira, Akira pierces him with a metal rod and the mummy falls to the ground. Akira hears a voice behind him and turns to see Mayan. He wonders who the fuck she is when the timer starts once again and Akira's arm disintegrates. He falls on his face while blood spills from his body and Mayan walks away casually. Akira opens his eyes and finds himself in a room with many other people, but Yuri catches his eyes. Realizing that he is handcuffed, Akira is confused as to how he isn't dead. Mayan soon appears, welcoming everyone to her humble abode. She informs them that they have all been removed from the National Registry and thus, their rights have also been revoked. An unsatisfied man walks up the stage, but Mayan easily blasts a hole through his body and kills him. Mayan continues speaking, mentioning that everyone will be given a unique ability. Their handcuffs disable their powers, and the light turning green signals that their power will be re-enabled in 5 seconds. With their powers, any harm inflicted on others will have no penalties. Mayan scares Ringo, an innocent schoolgirl. Shin, a professional wrestler, speaks up wanting to know who Mayan is and why she killed the guy on stage, but Rin, a seducing-looking lady, deduces that Mayan only killed the man to showcase her powers and scare everyone. As Mayan explains that they were chosen randomly, Young comes out from backstage, informing the participants that the first program where they will have to fight one-on-one is starting. The participants will have their own private rooms where they will be given time to get used to their new abilities. Akira goes into his room and his handcuffs unlock. Sitting down at a table, he opens the envelope nervously and is taken aback by what he sees while Mayan watches Akira from the surveillance room. Akira wonders how his power even works but sees his favorite candy on the table and gets distracted. Lying down to ejaculate from the taste of the candy, he hears a crashing sound and deduces that someone is testing their abilities. As he sits against the wall, Akira becomes paranoid that someone will try to kill him. Meanwhile, Mayan is excited to see how the participants will interact with each other as the one-on-one begins. Akira walks into the classroom where Madoka is already sitting. Madoka tells Akira to surrender as soon as the battle starts, adding that there is no point in fighting since he will win anyway. Akira tells him to suck his dick and the countdown starts. Soon, Madoka's wooden stick turns into a sword and he tries to slash Akira. Akira throws desks at him with a smoke grenade and rushes out of the classroom. Seeing this, Madoka chases after him and finds a classroom with smoke leaking out. Madoka opens the door and Akira throws candles at him from behind the desk. As Akira sneaks around the smoke-filled lab, Madoka notices a barricade and breaks it, but only feather flies out of it. Madoka turns back to see Akira standing behind him and doesn't want to hurt Akira. But the reason Akira isn't using his power is not because it's trash, but because it is too dangerous. Madoka rushes towards Akira and Akira pulls out a feather. But that is not his ability. Instead, Akira activates his hand cannon and blasts Madoka. He walks towards Madoka, telling him to surrender while holding his hand cannon out. Madoka has no choice but to surrender and Mayan is impressed. Still, Yang is confused as to why Akira didn't just use the cannon in the beginning, but Mayan explains that Akira's ability is not actually the hand cannon. Instead, his ability relies on deception, as he has the ability of whatever his opponent thinks it is. While walking back, Akira wants to take revenge on Mayan and passes by Yuri. We can see Yuri lying on her bed in her room wanting to go home. She remembers walking with her friends after school and finding an adorable puppy in a bicycle basket. As she goes to pet it, it starts barking aggressively. Walking away, her friends assure Yuri that the dog just so happened to bark, but Yuri is pissed as she doesn't believe in luck or chance. That is because one time she tried to help a dude, but he started following and stalking her. Yuri runs back home where she sees her mom with another drunk guy once again and pushes the responsibility of babysitting the guy's kid to her. As she constantly thinks about how shit her life is, she spots the stalker on the edge of the roof. Yuri rushes up the roof and tells the guy to stop being a fucking idiot, but he refuses to live if Yuri doesn't return his feelings. Having no choice, Yuri goes to pull him away, feeding the stalker's delusions. As she grabs him, he pulls her, and both of them fall off the building. Yuri sits up, gasping heavily, disappointed that she didn't magically transport back to her own room. She slaps the wall, pissed that she is being treated like a prisoner, and remembers Mayan telling her that she was sent here by chance. As she continuously kicks and slams the door, she screams to be released. Mayan watches from the camera and is intrigued by Yuri's behavior. Yang reminds her of Yuri's abilities, and Mayan cannot wait to see how Yuri will act. Yuri opens the envelope to find out what her powers are and gets confused. She goes to test it out by palming the wall. This causes the wall to shake as Yuri has created a huge crack in the wall. She thinks of breaking the door, but it obviously doesn't work. Whining on her bed about her shit circumstances, the scene flashes back to Yuri coming back from school, reminding herself of the money she saved so she can move out of her mom's house. The little kid comes out, appearing hungry, and Yuri makes her food. As she washes the dishes, not knowing when the kid's dad will come back, Yuri offers to take a bath with her. They take off their clothes and Yuri is perplexed as she sees the kid's back.
No, Didi.
Later, Yuri witnesses the girl terrifyingly mumbling in her sleep. Tearing up, Yuri remembers her mom crying. She reminds her mom that she will always be with her, but her mom tells Yuri that her life was ruined because she had Yuri. The siren rings and Yuri wakes up to be informed of her opponent. She is escorted to the venue where she sees a balding old man. The man comments on how happy he is to see a sweet little girl like Yuri in hell. Who let Drake on this show? He inhales Yuri's virgin scent and Yuri is taken aback. The man's ability allows him to know a person's condition just by smelling. He walks towards her, obsessed with smelling teens, and as the timer reaches 0, Yuri kicks him in the face. The man, still standing, licks his own blood, impressed with Yuri's balance despite having such a big personality. He takes one deep breath and pulls down his pants. The man runs to Yuri and puts her in a chokehold. He whispers in her ear and smells her neck, remembering the first time he did it. After sleeping with a young girl, she finds his business card and the man gets nervous. He tries to snatch it back but fails, and she requests for money by threatening to blackmail him. He goes crazy and does some shit to her. Still having Yuri in a chokehold, he cannot contain his happiness from murdering teenage girls and is excited to be lucky enough to be able to play with Yuri. Yuri remembers her past memories, causing her to get pissed that the man dare talk to her about luck. She crushes his forearm and punches him into the ground as her ability allows her to quintuple her physical abilities. From this, Yuri wins the battle and Yang cannot believe how strong Yuri is. Yuri remembers the kid and promises to go back home. Back in his room, Akira stares into the camera, wondering if his mind is being read. Mayan appears, informing Akira that every time he uses his powers, a person from the real world dies. The door opens and he is escorted out and instructed to go into another room. There he meets more people. Mayan informs them through a speaker that the next program is a 5-on-5 team battle.